very often I get letters from 4th grade teachers who are running plant experiments in the classroom. And they have like plants. They have a little cluster of, say, philodendrons here, and over there they have 3 different crops. And they are to speak real nice to some of the plants, and they seem to grow faster. And then they start yelling at some of the others and totally ignore the 3rd group. That's called the control group. Guess which one does the least? The one ignored. You know, in fact, plants would rather be yelled at than ignored. They're just like children. And same with animals. There's an interaction between plants and animals. Cleve was very lucky to have an egg. Eggs, of course, are very sensitive. He had an egg electroded to an EEG, and it was running a chart. And he went and he picked up his cat. And the cat didn't want to be picked up. And immediately the egg responded, even though it was 20 feet away. It picked up the alarm signal. Now that means that any kind of abuse to an animal affects the entire environment. And this is something most people don't get. I mean, to be told, oh, it's just a dumb animal, is a pure lie. There is an electrical field around that being. There's a being there. And of course, I do a lot of comforting of people who have recently lost a beloved cat or a beloved dog. And it's just as real as a child, because they understand what unconditional love is. And unconditional love is available to all of us, all the time. And we're told that we have to earn it, that we have to obey the rules to get it. It's not true. It's always available. All you have to do is open yourself to the omnipresent light of being. We're all part of it. And those of us who sit quietly long enough, and of course it takes me a long time, eliminating all the thoughts that we have released into the past, and just being, like a simple tone. In the center of the center is that unconditional love. And it's in everything. It's in your body cells. It's in each level of your body. If you touch someone lovingly, it's there in your hand. I think anyone who's been on a farm knows that the more you tenderly care for your animal, the more they give, the more they produce. I remember my Danish cousins had their cow right next to the kitchen, one door away, and they would check in on it just like a child, you know. And that cow provided all the milk and cheese they needed, and it was like a family member. I thought, wow. Of course, you know, it's cold in Denmark. But anyway, I do know that our leukocytes have the full DNA, and the DNA is what responds to this omnipresent light. If your DNA is so damaged and so mind-controlled that you're no longer accessing the lighter aspect of it, think of it as this way: the 2 original strands of your physical being. Then there's this current, a rainbow around it, right? And these are the levels of thought and feeling. For joy, for not so joy. You know, whatever it is, it's either shadow strands or light strands. We weave this 24 hours a day, whether we're dreaming or awake. So it's a challenge. This information is real. It's been validated. The Germans found out that your DNA changes in a moment just by thinking a certain word. And they've measured it. I think that's phenomenal. And then, of course, they push that off to the side. And then the Russians say, well, we did it first. You know, we measured the DNA, and sure enough, it changes as soon as you say a certain word. You know, it was funny. I got to witness in the lab a doctor from Alabama come. She gave her leukocytes. They were sitting in the test tube, and she was not a believer. She had just taken training in neutrality, which means nothing bothers me. I'm just being. I allow it to be. Very, very, very neutral, which is boring, okay? But it makes it quiet. It makes the body very quiet. And sure enough, her leukocytes showed a very smooth line with almost no response. Well, lucky for us, her cell phone rang, and it was her daughter. And her daughter was going, "Mom, I'm going to get married and go to Israel." You know, and all of a sudden, her leukocytes were all over the place. Because, you know, that's her maiden button. Because, you know, it's her daughter going to Israel. Oh my God, you know. And then she said something like, "But don't worry, they have great security." And the word security caused a huge wave. Because the fact that you need security, which we define as guys with guns and monitors and cameras, it means that we're insecure. So in spite of all that insecurity, it is our job to spread that unconditional love through our bodies, to keep healthy, keep moving in that light, and just counter and balance that constant control and insecurity.